pick another card and talk about it, but what deck are we gonna use? Okay, so let's just pick a card and talk about it. I hope you're all doing well today with the eclipse. All right. The Knight of Wands. First of all, I just love this deck. I love every deck that I have, but I'm just getting this overwhelming, playful vibe from this card, but that's what just made me want to say that I love this deck. This is the Everyday Witch Tarot, and I do feel like a lot of the illustrations are fun and playful, of course, and there's always a cat in it too. So wands have to do with action. It's the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion. How are we communicating those things? What actions are we taking towards those things? I also see wands as being information, because that's what we get by trying things. We figure out what works, we figure out what doesn't work, what do we like, what don't we like, what stays, what goes. And truly, at least this is my belief, the only way to figure those things out is by trying stuff. Knights are also, as we can see, right, because there's this dragon on top of the mountain here. It looks like the intention of this knight is to defeat this dragon. So, knights are the ones that are out there doing stuff. They're on the front lines. They're like right in the middle of stuff. This knight, for me, it's like, get in the middle of something. And by that, getting lost in the trying of things, getting lost in, taking action, trying things. I think I just said that, but who knows how many times this knight has already made a pass at this dragon, because the dragon is already pissed. So, has the knight already taken a couple shots at it? Who knows? But also I'm getting this feeling about planning, almost like calculation is what I just heard in my head too. Calculating your next step, calculating even the risk, but with the message being like calculating your next step, you have to first take those first few steps in order to calculate what the next ones would even be, which also tells me that the energy for that calculation, the information that you need, the next steps that you would need to take would show up for you. And even the way that they're holding this wand here too, right? It almost kind of looks like they're trying to hide it or not make it so obvious what they're doing, seem a bit more innocent than they actually are, right? Because they're like getting ready to go after this dragon. So that could even be a message to that whole hustle and silence, or I think that's the phrase. Or what's that other one I just saw recently? It was like, keep it to yourself until it's permanent, or keep it to yourself until it's final, something along those lines. At the same time, because now my attention keeps being drawn to this cat, at the same time, I keep hearing like distractions, but being aware of obstacles, or even just it like random things happening. And especially too, I know we're in the pre-shadow phase of Mercury retrograde, and that technically starts, I think, April 1st, right? Even just having an awareness that basically for the whole month of April, Mercury is going to be retrograde. So if there are things that just almost like throw a wrench in what you're doing, or, if communication is somehow interrupted, however that happens, whether that's orally, verbally, or whether that's electronically, or, however communication happens, because Mercury is a planet of communication, right? And it's going to be in Aries, which is a fire sign. I'm saying that, and I might have already explained this. I don't know. But because this cat, right, we can see that it's like reaching for their wand and their attention is on this dragon. So they don't even see that this cat is doing that. It could just be like something random, but not even necessarily negative. It doesn't feel negative. It just feels like it takes your eye off of your focus for a second, because this cat was to touch the wand or something, you would look, right? It would kind of startle you and you would look to see what just happened. So your attention would be drawn away from whatever it is that you're focusing on, or whatever the goal is, because this dragon does, to me, feel like a goal. It feels like an accomplishment. It feels like a feat. It's like that final test, or like the final villain in a game. But also even remembering that this is still a knight. So there is still lessons to be learned, information to be gained, things to try out. What else? Is there anything else? It is kind of interesting that there are all of these clouds here, and in yesterday's message we were talking, or just the clouds were being brought to my attention too. It is kind of interesting that we have another card with clouds. I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how long it takes us to get a card with clear skies. Like when are the skies going to clear up? I think that's it. Thank you.